everybody, welcome back to my channel. Annamorfidis here with Mending Hearts Counseling, and today I wanted to talk a little bit about this one big question, which is how to find true love. And the way to find true love is to find true love within yourself first. This is 1,000% guaranteed and is reiterated by all of our world's greatest spiritual teachers. Eckart, Tolle, Deepak Chopra, the late Dwayne Wire, Louise Hay. They all talk about the concept of self-love. Lao Tzu even. The minute that you find ultimate self-love, this is who you need to truly love first in order for that to be reflected back to you by others. How do you need to even figure out what it is that you need to complete in order to find self-fulfillment? Right? When we think about Maslow's pyramid to get to self-actualization, where we find our true self, which is self-fulfillment, that truly means to truly love ourselves. And that great saying, so within as without, it took me a long time to understand. If you have it all from within, you will not be searching for it on the outside. If you have it within, you can live your life without searching for it on the outside. As within, so without. You have it within, you go about your life without having to search it on the outside. And what does that mean? For example, if you are feeling disrespected, you have feelings of being or feeling disrespected, somewhere deep down inside, you are not respecting yourself. And this is your job to look within and see, where are you not respecting yourself? Perhaps you are not respecting yourself by not giving yourself the proper nutrition that it needs. You might think about it in your mind and you might say, oh, I need to change the way that I'm eating and I'm going to start tomorrow, I'm going to start next week, but you don't actually commit to that. And that is where you can start to make slowly those little changes where you can reflect back to you, self-respect starting from you, the source, which you have control over. And maybe it's that you don't get to bed on time. Maybe perhaps you get to bed a little bit later than you would like to. So you're not respecting your body in order to get its 8 hours of minimum sleep that it needs in order to be at its best self, to function and do all the million automatic things that it does for you in order to process your food and process your thoughts and just give you energy to go about your day. What other ways are you not respecting yourself? So maybe you are in a relationship that is non-serving, but you have fear of walking away because you don't think that perhaps somebody else will love you, or you have an attachment to this person to get to self-fulfillment. But now we know that it doesn't work that way. And it's actually not really fair to put that big amount of responsibility onto somebody else. Because just as we are responsible to find true love within us in order to be able to feel it from others, they also have to do the same job as well. So it's not fair that they have to find how to truly love themselves, because it's not easy to love thyself. It's actually really easy to do the opposite. It's really easy to fall into victimhood and say, poor me, or why me, or I am horrible, I'm terrible, I am stupid, I am this, I am that, I am fat, I am ugly, I am not worthy, I'm not good enough, I'm never going to be able to get that job. Their life is so much better than ours. Those thoughts are what overtake our mind most of the time. So that's not loving ourselves. It takes a lot of work and effort to be able to think differently. So that's where the great big shift starts to love ourselves. So remember, if you have those thoughts, so does that other person. So that's a really big responsibility to put onto somebody else, that they have to not only conquer their own thoughts about their own self that are predominantly negative most of the time. We have to fight against those thoughts until we get to the point where they're just fleeting and they don't have that much impact. To also give them the responsibility of now making us feel a certain type of way inside as well. When we do the work for ourselves, it can be enjoyed first and foremost by us and then by others. I hope that is making sense. And to give you a little bit more examples of the things that relationships are going to show us in order to get to ultimate self-love. So when you feel disrespected, we talked about that. Perhaps you feel fearful in a relationship. So then our job is to look into that fear and see what is it that we are afraid to express about ourselves to our own selves. Perhaps you live in fear that you might be in love with people of the same sex and you're just scared to say it. Or you might be fearful of your family's wishes to name your child a certain name or have a certain type of occupation, but you actually want to have, they're telling you to be a lawyer and you want to be a ballet dancer. Look to see where inside your own life you are in fear of doing what it is that you want to do. Therefore, it's reflected back from other people. So every time we're in relationships, it is a great opportunity to see and decipher those feelings that we have to get to ultimate self-love, because we only can get to self-love by healing our traumas, and nobody is exempt from traumas. This is the way that life works. We all come into this earth and we all have our own trials and tribulations to sort through. Nobody escapes this. And staying into victimhood and playing the poor me, why does this happen to me? My life sucks. Everyone else is so much better, will never help you. Because everyone is in the same boat. You don't know what other people's traumas are. People don't walk around talking about their traumas. But a lot of people do walk around and play that victim, the victim role. They have that mentality of, why is everything happening to me? And they're turning it back on themselves as if the world is doing things to them. But in actuality, we all experience trials and tribulations. I don't know why this is the meaning of life, but this is the meaning of life, is how do we undo those trials and tribulations and find peace from within in order for that to be reflected back to us from our relationships with other people. And having experienced both, so there is a test that you can take. It's called AACE test. And it's a score out of 10 in order for you to see how much trauma you have encountered in your life so far. So my score is 8 out of 10. So the closer you are to 10, the more traumas you have endured in your life. And it means you will have to encounter more resilience to overcome those traumas. Not to discount that if you score a 1 out of 10 or a 2 out of 10, or a 10 out of 10, there's no judgment here. Everyone experiences trauma, and trauma stays with us because trauma is something that was experienced by us, either by being done to us or by us witnessing it. And it hasn't had the opportunity to process yet because we were not in the ability to do so. So if there are more numbers on your ACE test, that means you just have a little bit more work to do. But and I'm sorry that this is your journey in this life, but just know that you're not alone. If, for example, in my case, I have sexual abuse trauma as a child, physical abuse, emotional abuse. There was suicide in my immediate family. I moved around a lot in my childhood, and changing schools, even countries, is very traumatic for a child as well. There was poverty. There was many years that my father was not living in the same area as us because he had to go overseas and work and make money. There are so many different things that a person can go through that will affect us in our adulthood, that will really do affect the relationships that we have with other people. And we cannot be saved by others. We have to save ourselves. And again, I'm so sorry that life is so hard and challenging and doesn't stop serving out the lessons, but that's just the way it is. And know that you're not alone and you're not the only one. I will put the link to the ACE test in the description box below, just in case you're curious to see what your score is. And perhaps there's something that you wanted to work through with me, or perhaps you have another therapist that you can count on, or a close friend or family member that can help you uncover your traumas and help you find self-fulfillment and self-love in order for you to find that self-love from others. There's nothing better than having inner peace. And I know that it's possible because I've been in both shoes. I've been in the shoes where I'm still living in my traumas. I know what it's like to uncover my traumas. It's so much work and it seems like never ending. But now I also know what it's like to be in different shoes where my traumas are somewhat, they're still with me, but they're very subdued. They don't dominate my life anymore, and they certainly do not dominate my relationships. I am in full control, and every time I feel challenged, perhaps even jealousy, there was feelings of jealousy I felt the other day, then I need to look within myself and see, where am I not doing my gratitude? What am I not being grateful for? What is it that what is this thing that I'm envious for, and how can I give it to myself? So that every time we have a feeling and an emotion, that's a compass to something that needs to be resolved within. And that's a really beautiful thing. We are always in control of our life, and it's so great. And not to downplay the times that we want to feel, or we want to sit in our feelings of sadness, and or give ourselves a little bit of compassion for everything that we've been through. Not victimhood, compassion. Like, sit with yourself and say, I am so sorry for everything that you have been through. I hear you and I see you, and I'm here now to protect you because I know better and I know different. And then get back on your horse and keep trotting. Keep trotting, because this life it's just the way that it has been designed to be experienced by you and by those around us. I hope that you are finding this information very helpful to help you on your journey to finding true love. And just remember that true love starts with you. And every time that you feel challenged in a relationship, remember that this is the path to self-fulfillment. You know what it is that you are experiencing is a gift. It's given to you for a reason, to get to self-love, because those bits and pieces are going to show you what you still need to resolve or lack within in order to get to ultimate self-love, where you can look at yourself in the mirror and say, I am so beautiful. I've been through a lot, but I truly, deeply love myself. I love me, and I love all of my traumas, because I understand resilience and I understand how powerful the mind can be. And if I can overcome, anyone else can too. And once you have that power and light and you hold it with you, it will seep onto others, and you're going to help others automatically get to that space too. And please don't do what I do. Do not downplay your traumas either. So it's finding that balance. The pendulum, yes, it always swings in our life. It goes from one extreme, which the one extreme is to be victim in your traumas. And then the other is to be, oh, but other people have it so much worse than me. Perhaps you're thinking about a child that is living in Afghanistan, or perhaps a girl that lives in the Middle East somewhere where they're being sex trafficked or being held captive. Their traumas can be experienced so much more worse. So please do not downplay what you've been through or stay in victimhood. Yes, please give yourself compassion and love, but do recognize, even if it's the slightest bit of trauma, it's still trauma. No judgment ever. And when you feel judged by others, or you are feeling that you want to judge others, self-reflect back on that and see, why do you have the need to do that? Paul Coelho once said that judging others is not fair, because we are judging somebody else's contract that we have nothing to do about. So if I'm judging someone because their skirt is too short, and that's not my contract with the world to be able to flaunt my beautiful legs or in the way that I want to, or in the way that that person wants to. That's a contract that they have made for themselves. If they feel comfortable with that, then who am I to judge that? So if I would see a girl wearing a short skirt in our Greek cathedral, like the Greek church, I would judge that. So when I found out about what it is to really self-reflect, I realized that I was judging that person for wearing a short skirt at church because I was in fear that I couldn't do that, because if I wore a short skirt at church, I would be looked upon as if I was doing something really terrible, because in our culture, you wear a skirt that goes basically down to your ankles, pantyhose to cover yourself up, or at least this is the way that it was. So it always goes back to us. I'm judging myself now for I was judging that girl for a contract that she has made with herself to overcome the fear of going to church in a long skirt and pantyhose. And good for her for doing so, but I didn't recognize that. I recognize that now. And good for her for doing so, but that's a contract that she's made with herself, and I need to look within myself and see, why am I judging that? And it's actually to my advantage, and then it's so empowering, because now I can empower her, and good for her for being able to step outside of that box and to show me that I can live my life like that too. If she can be fear-free, so I can too. We can all be jealous-free, disrespected-free. We just have to do the work and look within and see what it is that we are not allowing ourselves to experience that we truly want to. And with that, I leave you in love and light. I wish you a blessed day. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, please, I always welcome them all. If you like my video, press the like button and subscribe. Send me your questions. I'm always so happy to share all the blessings that I have been gifted with throughout my journey in this life. And I just... I'm just very, very, very grateful for every single one of you, your likes, your subscribes, your questions, just your support, your view, whether it's the whole video or just the first minute. I'm just super duper grateful, and I just, love this, and I love the opportunity to share what I love with you, and I will see you next time.